Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we are pulling for Rearmed Plumeria. I'm going to be honest, I was thinking about not making this into a video because I am pulling purely for fodder, but I figured I'm going to spend the orbs anyway, so why not share my shame? So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I think that the best thing that we can do today is just snipe blue as best we can because I need like 10 copies of Plumeria. Anytime they give us a skill that I can possibly use on any of my Lara shells, I'm going to have to go for it, and they have baited me with this new tome. And even though I do love the seashell bowl on her, it's always nice to have more options, and I can't say no to Lara shell, so I definitely have to get a copy to give that tome to her. But aside from that, she comes with like a treasure trove of skills, and I need so many copies of Wings of Mercy 4, but particularly for my flying Olivia, and so I'm really hoping that we can get at least a few copies today. And I think that if we don't have blues, green is the next best choice. That is so many greens. I feel like it's always when you're like not looking for them that they show up. But I really do like Sud as a character. I know I talked about him in my last video, and now it totally makes sense why he wouldn't show up on a wind banner, because he was next up. But I think that he's a great choice for the banner, and I would like to get him at some point, but I don't have to get him today. I'm willing to be patient. And so I think that that's what we'll do. It'll be a good backup. And as for the other characters on the banner, honestly, I do not want them, and so I don't have too much to say about them. So let's go ahead and answer some viewer questions. And as always, if I don't get to yours, I'm really sorry. I'll try to do it in a future one. And if you think of a question you want to ask me, just leave it in the comments with #question, and I'll be sure to put your question on my list. And so our first question today comes from Wyglaf, and they ask, do you think we will be getting Fallen King Morion or Fallen Alir with the dark armor and red hair? I absolutely think that that will happen because they are, oh my goodness, we got her. Oh my gosh, I am so happy to see her. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is plus attack. That is so good. And so we will still pull every single blue that we see because I need a lot of copies of her, but I am so happy that she's come home. But getting back to this very lucky question from Wyglaf, I was saying that I think that Morion and Alir are really good choices for an upcoming Fallen banner, and while it does make me very sad to see my favorites as Fallen characters, I feel like they both fit really well. I would totally pull for them, and I feel like Alir fell so many times in one way or another, like some of the times it was even her choice, so I feel like it would be a really good option for a Fallen banner. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer another one, and this comes from Big B14, and they ask, what do you like about Citrine? Oh my gosh, what do I not like about Citrine? She's an amazing character. Definitely in my top 3 for Engage, but there are a few reasons why she is one of my favorites, and the first of which is her design. I immediately liked her when I saw her in the cast of characters. I love her hair, I love the feather. It's very reminiscent of a Valkyrie, which I appreciate. And she came in the game at a point where I was very worried that I wasn't going to like the characters. And when I met her and Alchrist, I was so happy to have characters that I liked that it really made the experience so much better. So I associate that with her as well, me starting to enjoy the game. And I also love her personality. Something about her is very Lara shell, like being a noble with a heart of gold. She really is just such a sweet character and wants to do well and make friends, and she's very generous too, and I just, I don't know, I think that she was very well written and has really great supports, particularly with Zelkov. And then aside from all those things, she's also very fun to use as a character. Like with the Olwen ring, she will put in so much work, and so for all of those reasons, she is one of my all-time favorites. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer our next one, and this comes from Cosmic Starlight EX. And they ask, for Star Rail and Bibber Lune is now locked for 1.3's first half, and I assume you will get him. But will you also get any upgraded versions of the members of the Astral Express? So this might be a little bit surprising, but oh, that is Quan. I have pulled so many Quans recently, I don't know what it is. Okay, let's check IVs. And he is minus attack, but that is okay. I don't know why he wants to keep coming home, but I do like him as a character. But getting back to this very lucky question, I was starting to say that I actually skipped Imbibitor Lune because unfortunately I don't like his design. I don't like the long hair. I don't like the tail. It's not for me. And so while I do appreciate Dan Heng as a character, I don't like this new version, so I did skip. And I think that part of it is that I'm saving for a bunch of characters coming up. Like, I have to pull for Fu Xuan and for Lynx and for Jing Liu. And so that's another reason why I skipped. And I was actually thinking about making a video for Fu Xuan pulls, so if that's something you guys want to see, let me know. I'm kind of plus or minus about Star Rail content, but if you guys want to see it, I am willing to try to do that, if my puppy lets me. He's actually, oh wow, I'm pretty sure that's Ronin. We'll have to check. Yes, that is Ronin. He totally fits the theme for today. Okay, let's check IVs. And he is plus defense. I will take that. He has a lot of good skills. But before he came home, I was saying that my puppy is actually here with me again today. He really likes to be a part of all of this. And so if you hear a little bit of noise in the background, I'm trying to get him not to eat my phone. It's very, very tempting for him, but we are doing our best. So if he lets me make a little bit more content, I will try to do that for Star Rail. And I was also saying that for the other members of the Astral Express, it really depends upon the character. So if we're talking about like March 7th, I really don't know. But if we're talking about Himeko, it would be absolutely, because she's one of my favorites. But yes, I think that that's what I would do if we got some other forms. But thank you for that very lucky question. And let's go ahead and answer another one. And this comes from Swirls4319. And they ask, I just kind of wanted to know your opinions on my favorites, Shigure, Azura, Rosado, and Marianne. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to start out by saying that you have excellent taste in characters because I love every single one that you mentioned. But if we're starting with Shigure, I actually married him in my Birthright playthrough. I didn't know about the family tree at the time, so that's like not really super great, but I love him as a character. I think that he is so thoughtful and sweet, and actually has a very sad story about like why he has his hairstyle, and I just loved him as a character, and I love his dancer form so much in Fae. And as for the next character, Azura, I love her too. I think she has such a pretty design. I think she's very sympathetic as a character, and I really enjoy her too. And then the next one is Rosado, and I adore Rosado. I cannot wait for him to get added to Fae. He has one of the best designs in all of Engage. I absolutely love him. I love his personality. I cannot wait for him to be added in Fae. And then lastly, you chose my spirit animal, Marianne. I love everything about that character. I just relate to her so much. I love her love of animals, her shyness, the way she grows throughout the game. She is one of the best characters in the game. But thank you for that great question. Okay, so let's back out and we can answer another one. And this comes from Mythica2911. And they ask, which character from Genshin would you have wanted to join the Traveler in their journey? And which would you want to join the Express in Star Rail? Okay, so this is probably a very predictable answer, but I would choose the husbandos. So for Genshin, I would choose Child. I love his dynamic with the Traveler, and I'm so happy every time we see him in the game, and so I would choose him to join us. And then as for Star Rail, I would choose Japard because he is the #1 husbando. He is so wholesome and sweet, and I love him, and I'm also so happy every time I see him in the game. But thank you for that great question. And let's go ahead and answer another one. And this comes from Burn Zion 3000. And they ask, how did you pick up this awesome turn-based strategy game when you were a kid? So I got into Fire Emblem like a lot of people, I think. I got into it through Smash. So I played as a kid and I saw Marth and I saw Roy and I really liked their designs. And then I saw all of the marketing for Fire Emblem 7 when it came to the US and I was so excited. I thought, that's the game with Marth and Roy, I have to play it. And so my parents got me the game eventually, and then I was very surprised to learn that Marth and Roy were not in the game. I guess Roy is sort of kind of in it at the end. But I was very, very surprised. But I fell in love with the game actually because of the concept of permadeath, because I felt like as a kid, my choices didn't really matter all that much. But when I made a choice and it really impacted a character, like if I made a poor one and they died and I had to reset, like my choices actually mattered. And to me, that was so profound as a kid. And so that combined with meeting Sarah, one of my all-time favorite characters, just made me love the game. And then I played Sacred Stones and I met La Rochelle, and it became my favorite series of all time. And so, yes, that is how I got into it. But thank you for that great question. Okay, let's hope that this is a very lucky sud. Never mind. And we get a race then. All right, so let's go ahead and back out and we can answer our next one. And this comes from Deden BB. And they ask, have you used or thought about using an Otherworld bond? So yes, I actually have used a few of them, and I know that they are pretty pricey, but I've kind of tried to use them on characters that I didn't want to go in on banners for, like for the last copy of my Legendary Corrin and my Legendary Crom, I did it that way. And I feel like in the long run, sometimes it can save you if you're like going really, really hard on one of those legendary banners and you get really unlucky. I feel like it can be nice to just choose the character and move on with your life. And so I did that for those two, but I have to say my favorite choice has actually been my bunny Xander. He is still at +8, and so I'm hoping to see him again on one of these, but the one that I got had the most amazing skills, like an arcane weapon and all these other like really, really premium skills, and I use mine all the time now, and so that was actually the best choice out of all the ones that I have made. But thank you for that great question. Okay, please be Plumeria. That is not Plumeria. Okay, so let's back out, and I think that we can sneak in another question, and this comes from Supreme Midnight, and they ask, who is your favorite FE4 Gen 2 character? Oh gosh, well this is a very timely question, and I have to say that a lot of Gen 2 and FE4 kind of fell flat for me because I loved the parent characters so much, and I was so traumatized by what happened that, I don't know, a lot of the Gen 2 characters were just not my favorites. But with all that said, I think that I would probably choose Nana as my favorite. I just adore her design. I love her story with Leaf and with Finn. And I know that there's a lot more of that in Thracia, but I adore her as a character. And any form that we get in Fae, I'm going to want to pull. So I would say she's probably my favorite, but I also do love Leaf as well. I love Arthur, I love Tine. I know that I'm missing so many others, but I think that those were the ones that were overall my favorites. But thank you for that great question. And we get Best Girl. I can never be mad about that. So let's back out. I know that it is silly, but we have to try at least one more time for Plumeria. Okay, perfect. One blue. We're just going to keep our fingers crossed. Okay, 3-star. And we get a Shanna. All right, so we hit our 40, but I just feel like we should pull the screen. It could be a surprise set. Okay, smoke. It's Shaz. All right. Okay, so let's back out and we can go ahead and do our spark. And of course, we're going to take another Plumeria. Oh gosh, I'm so happy that we're able to get 2 copies. And we get the thing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end things here. I am so happy with my 2 copies of Plumeria, and if you guys are pulling on this banner, I hope that you get everything that you were looking for. I also want to say a big thank you to everybody that submitted questions. I really appreciate you supporting the channel, so thank you so much. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.